Do I think after this date, his feelings towards Jimin has shifted? I don't think so. Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bree with an E, and today I'm back with another heart signal review for episode 8. Episode 8 was a complete game changer. With all the dates that happened, so much information got revealed and some interesting things came out of this episode. If you're not caught up with my heart signal review series, then make sure to do so. Ever since episode 1 of Heart season 4, I've been dropping weekly reviews of each episode as they drop, so make sure you hit that bell notification so that you can be notified every time I upload a new review. And lastly, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up as it helps so much with the algorithm and making sure people find this video as well as my channel. But with all that being said, let's get into discussing episode 8. Episode 8 was another one of our official dates, and for our dates we had Jimin and Jiwon, we had Jumi and Mingyu, Yisu and Yore, and then lastly again we had Jiyoung and Mingyu. First we had Jimin and G1. Finally Miss Jimin got her time with her man G1. But for me personally, I didn't really like their date. Still, to me, it feels like Jimin is just barking up the wrong tree, and even still after watching the entirety of this episode and seeing how Jiwon acted when they returned from their dates and was only paying attention to Jiyoung, it's very clear that Jiwon isn't budging with his feelings anytime soon, and I wish Jimin would realize that. But here we are still. Their date was also a little bit uncomfortable to watch because you can clearly tell that Jimin was doing 95% of the talking, because the entire time she was just pretty much, I don't want to say love bombing him, but just really laying it on thick, her feelings and how she's felt this entire time. And G1 just kind of like chuckled every 5 seconds after the mention of her like deeply liking him, and it was a bit awkward to watch. I'm not gonna lie, it made me uncomfortable because she was really just laying it all out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm actually glad that she did fully express herself to be able to get that off her chest and hopefully now move on. The ball truly now is in his court. She's done everything that she can at this point. She's told him her feelings, she's had a date with him. Do I think after this date his feelings towards Jimin has shifted? I don't think so. Because I feel like because she was leading the conversation 95% of the time, like I mentioned, telling him how she felt, I feel like in response, instead of just nervously chuckling or awkwardly chuckling, he would take more of an initiative in asking questions back and really wanting to get to know her, to pick her brain. Comparing his date with Jiyoung to Jimin, it definitely felt like his date with Jiyoung, he took the initiative to lead the conversation, to get to know Jiyoung better. And I just didn't see that in this date. Only time will tell for these two, but I didn't necessarily enjoy their date, just knowing going into it that Jiwon wasn't feeling Jimin as much as Jimin was feeling him, and he's definitely most interested in Jiyoung at the moment. Our next date we had was Jumi and Mingyu, and this was a date that was long coming, I think. Jumi really wanted to have a date with Mingyu. She's expressed that in the past few episodes now, after going on a date with Gyeore, and just her in this entire time expressing how she's been kind of drawn to Gyeore and Mingyu the most and hasn't really had the time to have a date with Mingyu to compare her feelings for the both of them. This date was completely necessary for her, and I think it kind of put her feelings in perspective. But so getting into the date, I didn't see necessarily any sparks or any romantic connection. Honestly, at the start of the date, it kind of seemed like Mingyu was still kind of out of it. His mind was kind of fogged from last night's events, which was the truth or drink, and obviously everything that's been going on with Jimin and her not reciprocating that attention or attraction or love, whatever. You could just visibly see he was kind of checked out and also overwhelmed with the fact that he has suddenly become this most popular guy in the house, as each of the girls have an interest in him. So at the beginning, it did feel like he did just have too much on his mind to be present and fully entertain the date with Jumi, because he wasn't, I know he normally doesn't make eye contact that well, but he also just seemed very down and mellow at first. The thing is though, they do seem really comfortable still with each other. There wasn't any awkward moments, it just all flowed, conversation flowed. I also just want to take the time to brag about Jumi, because Jumi is literally the most perfect woman in the cast. I'm so sorry, she's still my number one and will remain my number one. But she carries herself and talks and speaks, it's just so, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just goddess tier. She's just super careful and considerate with her words and her actions, and I really admire that about her and respect that about her. Like in the third portion of their date, when she was talking to Mingyu about her feelings and how if it's too much for him, if it's burdening him, just to let her know. And I really love that she did that, because a lot of times people get too caught up in their own feelings, and especially with Mingyu's situation, knowing the fact that a lot of the girls like him in the house, or all of the girls have an interest in him at least. It can feel very overwhelming for him to have to navigate interacting with women who like you without leading them on, basically. And that was one of the fears Mingyu expressed. So it was nice to see her be considerate of that. Also, can we talk about the fact that Jumi has now made 2 of the men that she's gone on a date with cry or get sentimental and emotional, because she's just that woman. She's just that woman. Ultimately though, it just doesn't seem like these 2 will meet with their feelings. I just don't think that they'll be the final match at the end, but I could be wrong. For the next date, we had Yisu and Gyeore. And if you want to call this a date, it was not a date. It was more of a friends, buddy pals hanging out type of situation. They are strictly platonic, just friends, because they spent the entirety of their date talking about each of each other's love interests in the house, which was nice to see. But yeah, they both just talked about who each of each other likes in the house and gathered even motivation and support from one another to, you know, pursue their connections. So it was a nice date to see. So because the women picked this date, I really wish Yisu had just chosen Mingyu, because there were no limits or rules to who you could pick. Even if that guy got picked 4 different times, you could still pick him. So I definitely did feel like she kind of missed out on an opportunity to show more of her charms and further their connection. I know that they just had a date the prior episode, but still, you know, I think, you know, why not? Choose Mingyu. I really wish she continued in her bold pursuit to get to know Mingyu, because so far she's been very bold in pursuing Mingyu and asking him out first, and really just kind of forcefully inserting herself into Mingyu's love. What do you call it? A square now? Circle? I don't know. But lastly, getting into our last date, which was the most interesting date, we had Jiyoung and Mingyu. I really enjoyed their date in terms of just it feeling natural and it feeling very easygoing, because in the past episode, Mingyu expressed how Jiyoung was the one he felt most uncomfortable around or something of the sort. So it was nice to see them kind of stray away from their first date, which was very intense, so much tension and emotions and romanticness, if that's a word, where the nerves were high, the pressure was high, the hearts were fluttering, the hearts were pounding, beating out of their chests. But this time around, it was just a very easy, simple, you know, easygoing date. They grabbed some food, they made some food, they did a fun activity together, which allowed them to loosen up and just tease each other and have fun with the date. There wasn't so much nerves or tension or awkwardness. It was just easygoing is the best word I can describe. There was also just so many cute moments, I feel, especially the little picture, like videography segment they had together. That was real cute. They were getting all close together, taking pictures. It was a very cute moment. However, some things did get revealed in the third portion of the date that, quite honestly, I bet left you and me quite confused. Despite portions 1 and 2 of their date being very cute, very easygoing and free, the third portion of the date revealed maybe some hurtful truths on Mingyu's part. The best way I can rationalize or kind of put to words what Mingyu was trying to express to Jiyoung, it definitely felt like he was friend-zoning her. I don't know, it was confusing because he was describing that the type he usually goes for, it hasn't ended so well in the past, or I don't know if that's what he was saying, but that's what I gathered and picked up. You can tell me what you gathered from this whole confusing debacle. So it was confusing why Mingyu was putting such a stiff arm between them. Jiyoung is her own separate person, though she is similar to the types of women Mingyu has pursued in the past. That doesn't necessarily mean that it would turn out the same way because she's Jiyoung. She's not like your exes. But so if rumors are true and that, you know, how people were saying Mingyu ends up with Yisu and Jiyoung ends up with Hushin, I believe is what they were saying. it all kind of makes sense now because Mingyu has been pushing Jiyoung away. But that completes the discussion of each of the dates and what happened, how I felt about each of them. Now in the coming episodes, I'm excited. It looks like Jiyoung and Hushin have a couple scenes together, quite a few actually, of, you know, just scenes of them hanging out, which hopefully will give Hushin a reboost of confidence now seeing that Mingyu is kind of out of the picture and is out of the pursuit of Jiyoung. I do hope though in these coming episodes that Mingyu can get out of his head and stop making these rash decisions based on how he feels at the moment and actually give things thought. In the coming episode, it also seems to be some jealousy brewing in Jumi. It feels like now, though Jumi has expressed her feelings to Mingyu, she's kind of had dates with both of them now and is able to compare them and see, you know, wow, I did have more sparks and more of a connection with Gyeore. Now, Jumi has realized her feelings are stronger for Gyeore at the moment because they had a deeper date. They had a deeper connection on their date. So hopefully in the next episode or in the next coming episodes, Jumi is able to express her full feelings to Gyeore like she did with Mingyu. I think that will be really helpful for her. But yeah, guys, that completes my discussion for episode 8. Let me know your thoughts about this episode down below. What was your favorite date of the episode? Do you think personally that Ji1's feelings can catch up with Jimin's? And just in general, who do you guys want to see end up together? If you enjoyed today's video, like I said, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. It helps me so much. Also, again, please make sure to check that you are subscribed. And if you don't want to, that's cool. That's okay. Just make sure you come back every Sunday at 10 a.m. CST. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.